Hey there, and welcome to the Arkin Brothers Talk About Movies. I'm Matthew Arkin. That's my brother Anthony Arkin. And this week we are going to talk about Snakes on a Plane from 2006. And it stars Samuel L. Jackson, Julianna Margulies, Nathan Phillips as a surfer and a dirt biker. Kenan Thompson, Bobby Cannavale, and David Koechner, and a whole bunch of other people that I don't really care about that much. The movie's a lot of fun. The talk should be even funner. So enjoy.
Talking about cocktails that are stylish, movies great or phony, and how Tony should win a Matthew, and Matthew should win a Tony. But in the meantime, talking about film in the meantime. The Arkin brothers talk about movies.
Motherfucking Snakes on a Plane.
That's what I signed up for because I believe that's a true story.
Yeah. Wow. Bad language right at the beginning of
I'm so glad that I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I get so many surprises during our show. I love it. I love it. I never know what's going to happen.
I never know what's going to come out of our producers' brains, out of your. I don't even know what's going to come out of my mouth.
No. I don't even know why I look so standard deaf right now either.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Something's wrong.
Something in your settings? You want to play with your setting?
No. Not
on the air. It got Jeffrey Toobin in trouble. So
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh wait, no, I can it's let me see if I switch it. Oh, there it is.
Oh, you are high def, baby.
I'm back out of the 90s into the 2000s.
Yeah, you're like 4K now. It's awesome. Actually, 4K is old school now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's words you can't even pronounce. They're cool.
Okay.
Words and concepts that don't actually mean anything to you in your dimensional time space are cool now. So it's left us kind of in the dirt.
There you go.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How's your week?
Week is good. Good. A lot of teaching. Amelia's teaching. We're teaching together. I guess that's really about it. It's just a little teaching that we're doing. It's been nice. I have enjoyed the cooler weather. Now the heat wave broke, and I've got zero complaints. Just had a big event, actually, I should say.
You should say.
Well, I don't often, I'm a private guy, despite the fact that I just have public conversations every week on YouTube. Yeah. And I'm a complete hypocrite. No, I don't. I'm somewhat close to the vest, but I just celebrated a milestone event with Amelia. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, which I know you know. We got married when we were like 17. We were really, really young.
Yeah. In Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. And that was awesome. It was awesome because we didn't really decide to go crazy and do a lot of stuff. We had a very relaxed day, which was kind of nice in a way. Also, last year for a while, I thought it was our 25th anniversary. That's how long you get to feel like you're like a married person forgets. Like, is it 30 years or 25 years? I think it's 25. And I am bad at math, and for some reason, I thought for a couple months last year that it was our 25th anniversary last year. Highly embarrassing. I think you were the person who pointed out to me, in fact, that no, it wasn't.
I think so, because I knew that Pamela was pregnant with Atticus at the time, and I know how old Atticus is. So
yeah. So I bought her the present for the 25th last year, and so anyway, this is more than anybody needs to know. It was great. It was great. Nice celebration. An amazing achievement. So I'm told. It's just been fun for me.
It is. It's an amazing achievement. I haven't been able to do it.
Well,
And
you're not married to my wife, which is why.
it's true. And if I ever am able to be married for 25 years, I'll be napping through my 25th anniversary because I'll be
Yes.
100. I'll be 107.
Yes.
It's
Here's to that.
yeah, it's not gonna, yeah. So that's how that goes.
Sucks to be you right now.
It does indeed.
It's really sad.
It
I think
does.
I think our readership. Wow, our viewership is crying right now. I'm gonna get.
If they're just leaving, they're not crying. They've just decided.
Maybe I'll get some Lonely Hearts letters out of this.
Right.
You never know.
Like literal letters in the mail.
Yeah, with old lady handwriting.
Which is, let's face it, my handwriting now.
Hey.
I've learned that young people in school, like in elementary school, literally don't know how to read cursive anymore. It's not a thing people understand how to do.
I can't write cursive anymore. I haven't written cursive in some. My handwriting is some combination of chicken scratch and the Zodiac Killer Journal. It's just it's an embarrassment.
I'm gonna download that font. Hold on one second. So did you see, other than this fine film that we're talking about today, did you see anything exciting or watch exciting things?
I watched The Thin Man, which the original Thin Man, which I'd never watched.
Okay. Have you seen any of them?
No, I hadn't seen any of those. I've seen clips. I've seen clips of them, but I sat down and watched it.
I can't believe you've never seen it. It's great stuff.
It's great stuff. And discovered there's some drinking in it. It was actually work that I was watching it for. I'm starting to look at cocktails and movies, and we've created a martini that I'm going to make for you the next time I see you using batch 22. And we make it in the Nick and Nora glasses, because that's what they call that martini, the little martini glass. They call a Nick and Nora.
Well, that used to be the actual size of a martini, and then it was the 80s that decided we should drink them 3 times the size.
No, and it's the right size to drink a martini. Yeah. You drink it in that glass, and it's an interesting and elegant drink,
as opposed to like what I said when I started drinking them, when they turned into like bucket troughs of vodka.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous. I've also been watching this show, The Bear, which is on Hulu.
The restaurant show,
which is pretty extraordinary.
Love the pilot. Have not had a chance to check up more on it, but I thought it was pretty damn great.
Yeah, haven't finished the whole thing, but the acting, the writing, it's very well conceived, well executed show. Cool. You really care about all the people.
Well, despite that, I might continue to watch it.
Yeah, you don't like to care, do you? No. Okay.
I care. No, not really.
No. And then also, I went away for 3 days on a trip that was really nice. I don't know where I went because I had my booster on Sunday, and I've been gone since then to a very gnarly place, and I'm just coming back.
Good.
So, yeah. So that's it. That's the thing.
Oh, lovely.
So I guess we got to talk about a little movie.
Hey, got a movie for you.
We got a movie.
Hey, we got a movie. Have we got a movie for you?
We've got a movie where I believe that this movie, the star of this movie, probably looked at the title of the script and said yes. Just looking at the title.
There's a story behind that, actually.
Well, I want to hear it.
The story goes, apparently, they sent the script to Samuel Jackson's agents, and his agent turned it down and said, "There's no way my client is going to do a movie called Snakes on a Plane." So no, they just flat out rejected it. And then apparently somehow Samuel Jackson got a hold of the script himself and said, no, I'm doing the movie and they're not changing the title because the only reason I'm doing it is because it's called Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
That's why I'm making the movie. So we're not changing the title.
No, it's a great lesson about Hollywood.
Well, it's a
Is
great lesson about how awesome it is to be Samuel Jackson, because it really has to be pretty great a lot of the time. I know he's a person and has problems, I'm sure, just like everybody else does. Has to do stuff that he doesn't want to do, just like everybody else does. It just doesn't look like that. It
he
really
has
doesn't look like that.
but he also he looks like somebody who enjoys being himself.
What's not to enjoy? I mean,
Just
honestly, what's not to
thoroughly,
enjoy?
yeah, thoroughly enjoyed. You know this story about him at the on the red carpet with an award show, going down the red carpet with his wife, who was in the show with dad at the
No.
time.
Details are important, but I don't
Details
think I
of
know it.
He's walking down the red carpet, and they get stopped by one of the fashionista reporter people, talking about how everybody's dressed and everything. And the reporter says to him, "So who do you think is the most beautiful woman here tonight?" And he looks at me and says, "My wife?" Like,
What do you expect me to
are
say,
you
you
an
idiot?
idiot?
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
And there are a lot of people who might be smart enough to give that answer. I like to think that I would be smart enough to give that answer. I mean, not now because I'm not married, but were I to be married and standing with my wife, I like to think I would be smart enough to say that. But that nobody would say it like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Which is
No,
different than saying my wife is the most beautiful person here.
no.
Because it's kind of like, which is awesome, because it's kind of like saying, dude, what am I gonna say?
Yeah.
It's none of your business. It's the
Yeah.
answer. Well, obviously that's disingenuous, because they seem to have a really cool relationship. They've been married for a long time, and even seen each other through their careers and stuff, and have maintained a marriage. That's a that well, you know what? I just said it wasn't that hard for me, so maybe it's not that. Maybe they just like each other.
Maybe
Maybe
they
that's
like
what it is.
maybe that's what happened. I hear it happens sometimes.
So anyway, we have this movie starring him. Is that why you brought this up? Is that why
Yeah,
where we're
because
talking about him? Yeah, okay.
he stars in the movie.
Hmm.
It's from the stuck in a tube genre of films, up there with Das Boot and Towering Inferno. Stuck in a tube, nowhere to go.
How about Airport and
Oh, you
Airplane
mean other airplane
77?
movies? You want other airplane?
That whole series of disaster movies didn't.
I
You
was
didn't think
just
of
trying
that?
to think of movies with tubes, where you're stuck in no, of course, all the airplane movies.
Okay. Well, Apollo 13 then would also qualify.
Yep, yeah. But so what did you think of this? We're not going.
This is how we're starting. This is great. This is your
Okay.
here.
Well, I
Talk
don't
to me
know.
about the movie.
Listen, we can take off from any place you want.
Well, I would take off. Let's
You
take off from
know,
this place. Is it accurate to describe this movie as you did, as a people stuck in a tube movie? And I think this is interesting, because I would describe it as a failed attempt at meta deconstructionist entertainment.
God, I always know that we're in for a rough ride when the conversation starts with words I don't understand. Meta, I know what meta is.
Yeah. You know what deconstructionism
I
is.
know it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
You see, I will not make me look stupid for being smart. I will refuse it.
Our producer's coming in with perfect
Yeah.
timing.
Oh, I don't know if I can do this right. The producer,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't know how
here.
to
I don't know
do
if I
this.
can.
Yeah, we have somebody
Yeah.
running the board today who hasn't run it before, and she's showing her style.
She knows what time it is.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, so this movie is from 2006. It's directed by David R. Ellis, who is not a director you probably know. He directed a couple movies, one called Cellular. They're not really big movies. He was a second unit assistant director for years, very famous for that, and did movies like The Deep Blue Sea, which I think would make an interesting double bill with this movie. Also starring Samuel Jackson, who's besieged by many sharks in that movie. Else was also a stuntman and very famous for doing stunt work and stuff. And he was very good. And you can kind of see that probably as his best contribution to this movie. It's shot by Adam Greenberg, who shot the Terminator, Terminator 2, and Sister Act, which is something I didn't really put together until this morning. The same person shot Terminator 2 and Sister Act. It was edited by the guy who edited The Abyss, Howard E. Smith, edited The Abyss, Strange Days, Point Break. Three people who have a real keen understanding of how to put an action movie together. And yet you notice I haven't mentioned the writer because I just don't particularly think that would be nice. I don't think I should put a name on this.
You seem to have somewhat venomous feelings towards the writer. I mean, really, the fangs came out there.
Look, you know what? As I was thinking about this earlier, and my feeling is this movie, it comes to you pre-hated. So you don't even have to hate it. The people that made it hate it for you. And
yeah,
so you are left
that's why I loved it. I loved it because I didn't have to hate it. I just was able to go along and say, look at this ridiculous thing that they made.
So you loved it, is what you're saying?
No, I didn't love the movie. I loved the experience of watching the movie.
Had you seen it before?
No.
Okay, it's a one-timer, so definitely this is I will give you a free pass because it's the first time you've dealt with snakes on a plane. I saw it when it came out, and in the theater, which I think is probably a great way to see it. It is an experience is more about you and the other people in the audience than the movie.
This shit is bananas.
And at that level, it actually was a kind of it had a kind of a weird feel, that experience, but it wasn't really the movie, although arguably kind of is, because this movie is a worthless piece of trash. I mean, it's a complete worthless piece of trash, and I'm not the only person who would say that. I think many of the makers of the film might say that. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that was more openly making a cash grab and investing as little care and attention to believing in the story or believing in anything about the creativity that they were creating here. Their ironic stance helped them they distance them from having to do anything like that. And yet, for me, the pleasure of a movie like this is when somebody cares and fails. Like I cannot really enjoy an experience that, like I said, it's pre-hated for me. And the irony isn't that it's not that funny. It's really not that funny. I mean, if you see it again, you'll realize it's not really that.
No, I hear you, and I think the phrase that you've used that is really resonating for me is cash grab.
Yeah.
That they were just blatantly saying this will make us a lot of money, and we don't care whether we have fun or whether we're tongue in cheek while we're doing it,
or that there's a cohesive tone or an idea that works really creatively, or thought behind the characters, even as funny cartoons. It just didn't. No one seemed invested in it, like no one. And yet the audience was supposed to be invested, and I think it's a great example in how, like, no, no, you guys have to be invested. And then I can invest myself. But if you don't believe if you can't suspend your disbelief as filmmakers enough to want to tell me the story, well, why should I have to do all that work?
Right. And the tropes that they used, they didn't put any twist on them that made anything interesting about it.
No, it was like,
Unaccompanied minors. Oh, couple joining the Mile High Club. Oh, I say about my partner, he's the toughest son of a bitch I've ever met, which means
Right.
he's gonna die.
Right.
It's like,
Veiled silly jokes about gay stewards, like
yeah,
ancient humor that doesn't play, misogynistic as hell, let's face it, but also, there are certain movies that manage to strike a tone of real ironic chaos where it works, and the misogyny on display can be seen as kind of at least a satire on the concept of misogyny itself. I mean, Airplane even has examples of that kind of humor, and this movie had no ideas. It gave you just cliches without even bothering to make anything new about any of it. And it had some good actors who could have brought that, I think, like a great example being Lin Shaye, who's great. She played the stewardess,
the older stewardess,
the slightly older steward,
flight attendant. Sorry,
flight attendant. Exactly. Sorry, I don't fly anymore, so that's why I don't know the words. I haven't flown in like 20 years.
We haven't flown since Pan Am when they were stewardesses. Yeah.
And she's a great actor, really valuable player to your movie, right? Like a really valuable player, completely underused, totally just there for random plot devices that didn't really matter because there's really not much of a plot. It's like snakes escape, and then it's chaos for the rest of the movie.
Snakes on crack.
Snakes on crack.
On snake crack. Yeah.
Nobody wants to like this movie more than me. But to me, it's like an imitation of. It's like a bad imitation or an expensive imitation, actually, of movies that I love, because I love those movies because they actually believe they want, as bad as they are, or trashy as they are, or as ill-funded as they are. Somebody in that crew on that film, that at whatever level they were at, really cared about it somehow.
And enough to work out some details, like no matter how ridiculous they might be.
Yeah.
Let's try and make the details work. So for instance, we need to put one of my favorite lines in the movie. We need to put a barrier between us and the snakes, right? Which is a great line because, well,
everybody listen. We have to put a barrier between us and the snakes. Grab everything from the overheads, under the seats.
Okay, so yes, that is there has never been a truer statement in the history of the world. If I ever see a snake, my thought is I need to put a barrier between me and that snake.
Pretty much, maybe not that succinctly. You might not think of it in such well-phrased, but no, that's what you're going to do.
Because usually when I see a snake, my first thought is, oh, I'm glad there's a barrier. But I'm at a zoo. Mm-hmm. I'm glad there's a barrier between me and that snake. But so then they create the barrier, and the barrier is a wall of luggage about 4 feet high. As if snakes don't climb up over.
As if they already didn't get out of that situation to begin with.
So there's no moment in the film where anybody actually tries to, like, okay, we've got this ridiculous situation. We've come up with this idea that will sell a movie. Mm-hmm. Now let's at least treat it with this respect to say, okay, a gangster released 450 snakes on a plane. What would you literally try to do in that situation to try to survive?
Right. Or conversely, what could you do imaginatively, like Airplane did, to have a crazy imaginative experience where the writers and the actors and the people were invested in telling the story?
Yeah. The other thing is, like, stupid stuff like early on in the movie when the snakes first escape and they bite through a whole bunch of cables, the captain of the plane turns to the co-pilot and says, "We've lost avionics." Well, I have a good friend who's a pilot, and I asked him what avionics are. Do you know what avionics are?
The ability to fly itself. It's just the whole flying thing, right?
It's the entire apparatus that makes an airplane fly. Yeah. So it's not like we lost hydraulics in the left on the
Okay.
left flaps. It means all of the systems are down, which means the plane goes into the earth like a dart at
But
that
this
point.
is really telling to me, though. Here's where it gets interesting, because if that's true, and now I remember that line, and now of course that's what it means. That's actually the funniest damn line in the movie, and it's evidence that the director didn't get that that was funny, because that would imply to me that the writers were trying to make a satire of disaster movies. They were trying to satirize this whole thing. And then somewhere in there, somebody, one of the writers maybe, was smart enough to know that part of that satire was to just make this ludicrous, that the people didn't know really anything about flying a plane. It was a takedown of all of it. And that's the kind of joke that makes me like, that's a Terry Southern joke to me. That's a very like Dr. Strangelove joke that appears in a movie where it seems like nobody else saw the potential of it. I get
Right.
upset about this movie because I think it could have been freaking fantastic. And they missed so many key elements. Like, to reiterate what you're saying, the things that they decided just not to do, right? How about if I'm thinking about, okay, let's say we're not thinking Snakes on a Plane with Samuel Jackson. That's not the first time you've ever heard of it. Somebody pitched to you an idea about a thriller that takes place on a plane in which somebody has released a lethal snake and it is somewhere on that plane. The amount of suspense and pressure and terror you could get out of that slow burn is amazing. Now, they didn't even decide to do that for 2 minutes. They just went right from ridiculous, setup with characters you don't believe in or care about to all the snakes in the world coming out of the bottom of this plane and attacking everyone all at once. Where then you're left with nowhere to go except just, okay, well, we're going to be in chaos from here on out, which is basically what happens.
It is just chaos from beginning to end.
But then you've just completely eradicated any real ability to make these characters go through something that makes any sense, because they keep on saying, like, let's go. We got to move. Where are you going to go? They keep on just running from one side of the plane to the other.
Well, they do go up. It's a 747, so they do go up the stairs into the first class lounge.
A little bit later on, yeah, but
yeah, which we all know snakes aren't allowed up there.
No, it's a snake-free zone.
What's that about?
Yeah, we're in rough shape from jump here. I mean, it starts oddly enough with the best thing that's going to be in this movie, which is a helicopter shot, the likes of which you don't see very often. It's extraordinary. It comes in off the side of Oahu and flies all the way down the beach and then picks up a motocross bike guy on a dirt road and follows him in close up for a while. It's just insanely good. And you're like, yeah, that's the guy that shot the Terminator. He knows how to do that. And then they make a fatal error and people start to say things.
Well,
hey, yo, stay black.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Things like that.
And then also they make fatal errors like the bad guys, after they commit the murder, they discover a can of Red Bull. So they know they've been witnessed, and how to find the guy.
Right.
He saw me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think that guy could probably be a great black belt and good in some parts, but he looked so like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
It looked like it was really hard for him to play a bad guy. Like he didn't want to be a bad guy.
He didn't want to be,
Yeah.
Stereotype bad guy. Like that's what I'm
mean,
playing here.
I really think that the thing that I walk away most from with this is a sense of like that I've just been hanging out with studio bros like all day.
Yeah. I also became enraged by one moment in the movie.
Really? You sound like me. What happened?
I'm still enraged. they bastardized one of the great jokes of all time. They referenced it, and they didn't reference it well. The joke about the two friends who are hiking, and one of them gets bitten on the peen. You know the joke.
Yes.
Two friends are hiking. For people listening who don't know it, two friends are hiking their way out in the woods. One of them gets bitten on the penis by a venomous snake, and he's writhing on the ground in agony. And his friend says, "I'm going to go get a doctor," and he runs all the way back into town to get a doctor to save his friend's life. And the doctor, the only doctor in town, is delivering a baby and can't leave, or mother and baby will die. So he says, "Your friend was bitten by a snake. Here's what you got to do. You cut an X around where the snake bite was, and you suck out the poison." And he runs back to his friend in the woods, and the friend says, "Where's the doctor?" He says, "Where's the doctor?" He said, "He couldn't come. He was delivering a baby." He says, "What did he say?" He said, "You're gonna die." And it's a great joke.
It is a great joke.
And they do the thing in the movie where the guy gets bitten on the ass by the snake, and they say, you gotta suck out the poison.
They managed to make it both. Yeah, I mean, it's both like homophobic and the wrong way to tell a joke. Like everything was wrong with it.
Everything was wrong about it.
The only thing that's not wrong is it's delivered. See, this is the sad part. It's delivered by two actors who were perfectly ready and willing to be very funny in this movie and do great.
Yeah.
And they were unable to. It's like the director just made them unable, all of them, to do anything any good. I've never seen anything like it.
And what would have actually been funny is that somebody actually, turned the joke on its head, and somebody actually has to do it.
Yeah.
Like deal with that.
It's such a strange mixture of various things. I mean, it's got some extreme violence in it and gore. It's got some, excellent makeup effects when the people's limbs are, bloating up because of the toxic bites of the snakes, and the dead people in the aisles of the thing. They all look really good. It's a beautiful job. The art direction's fine. It has a beautiful look to it. It's really saturated. Hawaii looks beautiful, but it's also got a little bit of grain and grit to it, which I still love. Clearly shot on film, and just a little nod towards Grindhouse in how it looks. So that's all great. Beautifully edited. The action scenes technically work, and the stunts within it all work because David Ellis, like I said, director, was a stunt guy, and I think his best contribution is that every single physical gag or element pays off and is sold. And even small ones where somebody gets like thrown up against a door or falls on the ground, they really do it well.
Yeah, incredibly well.
Just forte. Clearly, the snakes themselves are crap. I mean, they look like they are just clearly animated.
Bad CGI.
Which is weird because they apparently had a ton of snakes on the set for real, and they had to add all these other snakes, but I didn't really see anything that looked like a real snake at all in this movie.
No.
You feel like it's going for the best way to describe it to me, it's like it's like kind of that Sharknado mentality. Right.
Well, that's what I was hoping for.
But the problem is that Sharknado, they don't have a lot of money, and they're struggling to tell their story, right? They're struggling. And to me, that's more entertaining than to watch a movie that has a giant budget that can shoot and do anything it wants and chooses to spend its time just simply not doing the job that it should do with the time.
Well, hold on. What kind of insane plan is that?
Yeah.
I mean, why, Bobby Cannavale's a fine actor. Why does he have to have a scene like that?
Yeah. I do think there's an interesting short film that you could edit out of this movie called The Snake Death Variations. Because can we go through them?
Sure.
Snake on boob.
Right. Yes.
Snake on penis.
Yes.
Snake in mouth.
Yes.
Snake on neck.
Mm-hmm.
Snake in Eye,
Yes.
jerky guy getting eaten by the
Mm.
giant boa constrictor.
Hmm.
Any other specific?
Oh, well, there's really bites all over the body here. We
Yeah,
have bites on all the private parts and the
all the
private
private
areas,
parts.
eyes, ears, in the mouth, on the tongue,
Yeah,
neck, a lot of neck,
a lot of neck
a lot of
biting,
arms and legs. I mean, it's
a lot
pretty
of arms
much
and
a
legs.
smorgasbord of biting. It really is. I did appreciate the level of misogyny wherein, and this is something you didn't even see much back in the day of like in the
When
70s
when
misogyny
misogyny was cool.
when it was really cool.
You
Right.
would-
Like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where just a random hookup in a, two people sleeping, like trying to make it in an airplane lavatory. There's like boob close-ups over and over again.
Yeah.
How many close they got that the boobs got more close-ups than some of these professional actors. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's like, and then my here's the thing. Someone there thought they were making a satire on this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And then they just went ahead and made this kind of movie. It's like that's what happened.
Yeah.
Did you ever see
Yeah.
Star Shrimp Troopers, which is going to be made now? Oh boy. Have you ever seen a movie called
Star Shrimp Scoopers. Star Shrimp Scoopers.
I apologize.
Tonight, that's my favorite seafood restaurant here in Newport Beach is Star Shrimp Scoopers.
Yes, right next to Bubba Gump's.
Yeah.
Did you see Starship Troopers?
No.
You didn't see Starship Troopers. Okay, I want to make
Say it 5 times fast.
Star Shrimp Shapies. Can't even say once slowly.
Oh
I
my
propose
God.
that we cover that movie.
Okay,
So
absolutely.
Sophia, make a note of that. Let's fit that into the schedule because it's an interesting movie in the sense that it's, to me, that's what that's the potential here. That's the template. That's the kind of movie that this should be. And Starship Troopers is like, it's a satire on action movies, really, and also a satire on fascism. But it's so close to the vest that the first time I saw it, I left kind of confused because I was like, is this the thing that it's making? Is it making fun of this or is it the thing? And then after you see it again, you realize it's really a comedy about this stuff, but they're just
About that
playing it
thing.
so seriously that you don't even really notice half the time. It's a kind of
Okay.
a genius movie. It's Paul Verhoeven, who's a great director.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's an example of the kind of movie this could have been, where
Well, he
you know,
directed one of my favorite movies.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Which one? RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Oh, it's the greatest.
That is a flawless.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen a movie that good with a lead actor that bad in it.
Oh, shame on you.
Oh.
He's so good in that. He's great in it. I
He's
mean,
fantastic because you actually don't see him ever.
total shame on you. He's responsible for 2 of the greatest genre characters ever. How could he be a terrible actor? He's great.
He used to say terrible things to me at Cafe Central back in the 90s. Which I can't say on the air what he said.
Which probably made you laugh back in the 90s.
It did make me laugh then, but
I've always been a big fan. I'm a big Buckaroo Banzai fan, and I'm a big fan of RoboCop. Love Peter Weller. Best lips in show business. So, but I mean, even RoboCop's a good example because that's similar. It's spoofing action movies while it's also giving you a great action movie, but it's smart, and the people in it knew what it was. And this movie was just, I want to make money. Can I get more money, please?
One of my favorite lines also in RoboCop ever.
Which one's that? Oh, I'm very disappointed.
I'm very disappointed.
It's the best. It's one of the best moments in film history, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so I think we're kind of in agreement on this movie.
Yeah, I guess we are. I mean, you enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it the first time I saw it, just because I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But second time around,
I mean,
made me,
I didn't enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the experience of.
yeah,
I was more like, oh my god,
right.
I'm watching motherfucking snakes on a
I can't
plane.
believe what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
there is a part of it which works really well in the theater. It was the same feeling I had watching The Producers, the revival, the Broadway revival Producers when it opened. It's so much money, so much razzle dazzle, so much stuff thrown at the stupidest stuff you've ever seen that starts to make you really laugh. That starts to become really funny. And the first time I saw Snakes on a Plane, I guess I kind of got suckered by a little bit of that. Just like, I just can't believe they spent all this money on this movie. This is actually something that's happening. It's like a
yeah.
weird social experiment.
Do you know the only like really interesting trivia thing to me that I found out about this movie was what they dubbed when they
Oh,
moved the
the
one
big line.
line, the big line. Did you
What was
hear
it?
what
I forget what it was
it,
that I read that they had.
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
It
Yeah.
is, and admittedly a great line. I wish that it had the impact that it deserves.
That line and the other line I completely adored was everybody strap in. We're about to open some fucking windows. Which,
Yeah.
yeah. And kind of a reference back to the first airplane movie. Not airplane, airport. Right? The first disaster airplane movie.
It was Airport, yeah.
When the bomb goes off and Jacqueline Bisset almost gets sucked out of the airplane. And they had that scene. And Van Heflin does get sucked out of the airplane.
Believe it or not, and you feel and you care and understand more about Van Heflin's character than you do about anybody in this movie. And that's, we're talking about Van Heflin, dude. So that's pretty tough.
That is, it's tough to care about Van Heflin.
I also have a couple of just things that occurred to me before we get into the. Did you have other things you were covering, or were you getting into the
Microwave Snake was pretty good.
Yeah. And that there's a button on the microwave that says snake.
Boom. Yeah.
So my point is, if the movie had just been that, I would have flippin' loved it.
Yeah.
Because he was funny. That guy actually really did make me laugh.
He was.
And there's a button on the microwave that says snake when he pushes it. So he actually So to me, somebody there, whether it was in the script or whether it was that one art director, somebody got to how this was funny, and their voice was just squashed by the studios.
Yeah,
let's face it.
Sad.
Do you like the music video at the end? Because I think that's the best music video I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Really, I think it is. That was like the vice president of comedy at the studio's cousin was starting a band.
That was terrifying.
I didn't know that Jan Wenner acted.
Jan Wenner?
Doesn't the surfer witness look exactly like Jan Wenner? Isn't that the guy from Rolling Stone?
Oh,
the head of Rolling Stone.
I don't know anything. I'm so out of culture. I don't know.
No, dude, that's not no. This was culture when you were in high school. This was like somebody that goes, you just weren't paying attention.
Yeah, but if you think I knew,
I didn't wait, Grandma.
That's me, Grandma being tossed aside. I didn't know anything about Rolling Stone ever. I was not that hip. Oh, dog tossing. The tossing the dog was pretty good.
No, it was not.
It indicated that's how we knew that character was a bad guy. He threw a dog.
Okay.
That's in the script, right?
Fucking dog, fucking coach, fucking Americans.
That's what I say every morning when I get up. Fucking dogs, fucking kids, fucking Americans.
Yeah, so this is we feel similarly. I really, I had a thought during this. I was like, I bet the auditions for this movie were the most embarrassing auditions of people's lives.
Scream and yell and writhe
Yeah.
in random ways.
Yeah. Okay. And a snake just bit you on the penis. Go.
Well, anybody who wants to see what the audition for this movie would have been like needs to watch the video Fiery Hawk.
Yes, that would be exactly
available
right.
on- would
That is a
be-
great video.
give
Very
you
accurate.
an idea of what an audition for this movie might have been like.
Yeah. It's ridiculous to point out plot holes here because the movie is a whole itself. The movie itself is a whole where a movie should be. But I was confused at why they chose Hawaii because there are no snakes in Hawaii. There are none allowed there. It's incredibly difficult to do this, to get snakes there, to get on a plane. Literally almost physically impossible, as there are no snakes there.
Right.
Somebody says this later and says, "Oh, but they're from California." And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay."
So they put them on the plane in California, flew them to Hawaii,
Got them on another okay.
and then loaded that plane up with
Okay, that's a
was
simple plan.
layover.
Much more effective than putting an assassin on the plane, for instance.
Oh. Well, that would have been a great scene of Eddie Kim saying, "Why didn't we just put an assassin on the plane?" And his sidekick saying, "Oh,
That would have been a good idea.
I didn't think of it."
Yeah, we've gone through all this trouble. Well, you wanted something dramatic, and I couldn't think of anything more.
Yeah, we were
dramatic.
trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Again,
you shouldn't rewrite the movie that's been made, but we're doing it.
What's your double feature for this movie?
I wrestled with it, and I can't decide. I can't really decide. Let me think for a second. Let me take some time, precious time for the viewers.
Well, while you're
think.
doing that, I'll say mine, which is not all that great, but it was arachnophobia, just to stick with the theme
Okay.
of,
Okay.
which is more fun, I think, arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia is actually a much better movie than much better. Actually, Arachnophobia is the movie this really should have been, and it should have been made by the same damn people.
Yeah.
Really. I actually have.
Look, I'm not really good at this whole apologizing thing, but I'm sorry about pushing you.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I'm going to double bill this with 1981's Venom, directed by Pierce Haggard and starring Klaus Kinski, Oliver Reed, and Nicole Williamson. That is a snake movie. So I don't know if that's available for people. Came out a long time ago, but it is great snake thriller.
So that would be the anti-Venom to this movie.
Ooh, I like what you did there.
Yeah. How would you watch this movie?
I believe that the best way to watch this would be as dailies, not finished film, not with a score or effects added, just the raw dailies, I think would be the most entertaining way to see this.
Well, and the best part of that would be what happened after cut.
Well, put some of that for sure,
Yeah,
But to see people selling this stuff without any computer help or music or snakes, I gotta say that would be, I would accept a rough assembly before music or effects. Yeah, but I'd rather see just the dailies, like all.
I was stupid. I just said on a plane, of course.
I thought of saying that, but then I thought I needed to give a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
You did a better job than I did, but I'm used to that. Who are we?
Oh, okay. I cast you as the snake expert. I think you would have been very funny.
Snake expert.
No, really?
Yeah.
I think you would have been hysterical as the snake expert.
I thought you would have been great as the snake expert.
Okay.
Like just uncomfortable, not
I had you locked in there, man. That's interesting. For myself, I think I maybe put myself in the Cannavale part because I think it was the only thing I would have maybe auditioned for.
Ah. Okay. I had you as the snake expert and me as the bad guy who gets his head eaten.
Oh yeah, but okay, well, that would have been a
The angry
possibility.
guy.
But I think you could have also there could have been big case for you being the sober-minded air traffic controller they keep cutting to
Oh yeah, okay.
in
I
the
can see that.
in the red sweater. I
Yeah.
think that was maybe your part.
The thing I'm proud of is I came up with, I think, a really good all-star recast from the past.
Me too. Me too.
You
I
did?
can't wait
You
to
went
hear
to
what
the
you did.
past?
I did the same thing.
Okay. All right. As Special FBI Agent number 1, recasting Samuel L. Jackson with Ralph Meeker.
Oh, very, very interesting. You went way back.
Yeah, I
Okay,
went
you went way back.
Ralph Meeker, his sidekick, Woody Strode,
His sidekick meaning
the one who is the other
the
agent
other
who gets
FBA.
killed,
Yeah, okay.
Woody Strode,
Great.
the surfer dude, Ricky Nelson,
Great. Perfect.
the Julianna Margulies,
Yeah.
Diana Lynn. Do you know
Who's
Diana
Diana
Lynn?
Lynn?
Diana Lynn is the younger sister in Miracle of Morgan's Creek.
Oh my
The
God.
smart-ass
Okay.
younger sister
Yeah,
in
she's
Miracle of
great.
Morgan's Creek.
She's great. Okay.
Bobby Cannavale, Don Gordon.
Help me.
Don Gordon is Steve McQueen's sidekick in Bullet, the other
Oh
cop
yeah.
in
Okay.
Bullet.
Yeah. All right. Right on. Right on.
The don't know the actress's name, but the one who we just saw, who the guy just apologized for pushing, the woman who's flirting, the woman with the dog who's flirting with the rapper,
Yes.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Good.
The singer, the obnoxious singer,
The rapper.
stay with me. Yeah, the rapper. But back in
Yeah.
my recast, he's not a rapper. So stay with me, Robert Preston.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I love
And
this.
and Kenan, what's his last name? Kenan, the guy from Saturday Night
Oh
Live.
yeah. I don't remember his other
His
formal
assistant,
name.
Robert Press's assistant, Jack Lemmon.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And the guy who gets his head eaten, John MacGyver.
Okay. I love it.
Kenan
We're
Thompson.
getting Kenan Thompson, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Who was very funny in this and looks like he
Very
really wants
funny.
to be funnier, and they're not letting him, and it looks like it made him angry.
If the rest of the movie was the movie that Kenan Thompson was in, this would have been a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in the good version of this movie. He was doing the good version of this movie, I think.
I do too. All right, my recast from the past. You went way back. I went to the 70s. So
okay,
we have in the Samuel Jackson role, we have Jim Brown.
Excellent.
Margot Kidder in the Margulies role.
Yes.
As the rapper 3G, as the rapper 3Gs, we have Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh my God.
As the witness, surfer witness, Jan Michael Vincent.
Of course. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I want to see this movie.
The other stewardess is Susan Day. And
okay, yeah.
Jack Warden is the pilot of the plane.
Yes. Oh God.
That's where I went.
That would be a great version of this movie.
Yeah, I could see like really leaning into the into the disaster movie zone that way. Like an older Sammy Davis, like looking for some bucks later in his life, like in the 70s.
Oh yeah, the Candyman can.
Wow. Yeah, there we have it. I don't know what else we could possibly say about this movie.
Well, in a movie with a lot of stupid stuff in it, the stupidest thing in the entire movie was the shot of, I think it was one of the other FBI agents talking to the surfer dude at the beginning, turns around to walk out of the interrogation room, and he's wearing, as those kind of cop guys do, the oversized Hawaiian shirts, the purpose of which is to hang over your gun so that you can wear a gun on the back of your, clipped into the back of your pants without it showing. But he has the shirt tucked inside the gun and his pants so that the gun is showing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, somebody said, well, we need to see his gun, so change his shirt.
Please, for the love of God, who tucks in a Hawaiian shirt?
Nobody tucks in a Hawaiian shirt. It hangs over your gun.
Magnum used to tuck in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, but and then he had his gun clipped on the side of his hip. He didn't have the whole shirt out and then just tucked in behind the gun.
Magnum wasn't a big gun guy, though. Magnum didn't carry a gun around all the time.
Not all the time, but he did when he had to go.
When he had to do it, he did it.
Sunrise this morning,
right?
You know,
right.
Then
exactly.
you carry a gun. Did you see the sunrise this morning?
That's right. Those are words that are like a code that unlocks a door at a whole, like that. If you say that phrase to a certain person, their eyes will light up and you'll have a friend forever.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that means, it'll be like, sorry, you just don't know what it means.
You don't know what "did you see the sunrise this morning" means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it sounds like a nice thing to ask somebody.
Oh, it sounds pleasant. It sounds like a lovely, friendly conversation.
A lovely way to start.
It's not. Delightful.
Oh, we just nerded out so badly.
Big time.
Yeah.
This was a very entertaining conversation for me. I feel like we're very much on the same page with this, which is great.
Yeah, it's good. It's good when I can go into the week knowing that my brother likes me. So next week, we still doing Blair Witch Project?
That seems to be what's on the schedule.
That's on the schedule.
Yes.
I don't know why I decided there's something British going on.
The schedule.
But, so next week, please join us for Blair Witch Project, and we'll see you then.
We will see you then. We will try to spoil as much of it as possible.
And let's hope our producer is going to play the credits. Otherwise, we're just going to be left hanging here like
us staring at you.
Talking about cocktails that are stylish, movies great or phony, and how Tony should win and Matthew should win.